and they got different ways of voting.
That's
what needs to stop.
That's the issue right there. It is.
That's what needs to stop. It needs to be a national thing where it's the same thing for every state, every county, as to whether it's paper ballots, whether it's electronic, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
I'm agreeing. Totally. And does he have the legal authority to do that? Does President Trump?
I don't know that. That's beyond my pay grade right there. That part I don't know.
It's beyond mine too. That's a good question. I'm going to get a legal expert. I may talk to some attorney friends and see about that. I think he should do that. I do. I think there should be a national mandate, Mark, that we do paper ballots because, look, honestly, that is the safest way to make sure the election is pure. And you don't have this mail-in stuff. And look, those voting machines, look, I've always been under the impression, and you've talked about this, others have told me this, that these machines they're Soros funded, they're Soros backed. And how many people have been out there that have sent messages to us and said, hey, I went in there and voted for Republican, and I looked there, and even as I was literally looking at my ballot, the thing changed right there in front of me before I hit the send button. I had to go back and change it. And I just think the potential for fraud is much greater with that. But I tell you what, buddy, you get on a paper ballot, and another thing they did, they gave you a photocopy of it. I took a photocopy of my vote with me out of that place, and I was actually impressed. I was like, man, this is great. But it's going to have to be done nationally. I'm with you. We got to have uniform voting. We have to have a uniform. But I'm going to let you have anything. I want you to have a few things if you want to talk about. I want to get to Nick Sandleman next, but I want you to talk about some things you've got going on because I want to talk about Nick, who's, if you're listening to Monday Night Spiritual Smackdown, me and Mark love you to death, by the way. Being the kid's he's going to be a billionaire by the time he gets 20.
He hadn't even started yet, man.
He hadn't even started tonight, but we'll talk about him in a minute.
You know what? Honestly, if he bankrupts these guys, so be it, man.
Absolutely, Mark.
The news media's had this coming for how many years? For how many decades they've been doing this? I hope he bankrupts them, honestly.
It's judgment on him. It's
judgment on them. Absolutely it is. This may be one of the way that God's using to clean them out.
Yeah.
More people need to be suing the fire out of them probably.
And for those of you that don't know who Nick Sandleman is, he's a young man that was at the Right to Life March about 2 years ago. Yep. And this creepy-looking Indian dude came up beating that tom-tom. And all Nick Sandleman did, he was standing there with a MAGA hat on, okay? That's all he had on. He was smiling. There was no time that he uttered his mouth. There was no time that he said anything derogatory. He sure wasn't intimidating the guy. The narrative, though, on MSNBC, CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post even, a lot of other newspapers, and I think there's 8 of them because he tweeted out the other day, 2 down, 6 to go. And they basically claimed that this kid, this 18-year-old kid, was intimidating and threatening the guy with the tom-tom. I mean, they were making him, and then it turned into this hateful thing about MAGA hat wearers. They said, this is all the MAGA trap. This is all the Trump people. This is how they act. And then come to find out, all of it was a lie. And the lie was found out, and Nick Sandleman's family, instead of sitting around, and I salute them tonight because you're real patriots for doing it, they didn't sit around. They took the fight to the media. They took the fight and sued the pants off of every single outlet that lied about their son. And I'm going to tell you something with you, buddy. I hope that figure, when they were writing that $250 million check out at CN, I hope it hurt where it hurt in the wallet. And I hope he gets that much from all the rest of them, if not more.
Yep.
But anyway.
Well, on another front. Let's talk about the COVID stuff here for a minute.
Go ahead, buddy.
John Solomon released this today. He said the White House petition to investigate Gates Foundation garners more than 600,000 signatures.
Wow.
So, I mean, this is almost like 4 or 5 times what it's supposed to be in order to get action. We got 600,000 signatures right here, guys. I think you can still go in here and sign this, by the way. So find John Solomon and find that article that he's got and go in there and sign that petition because they could be investigating Gates here pretty quick.
I think it's on the way.
I'm on the way. Another one here, Representative Matt Gaetz is on fire, man. And I'll go over another one that's on fire here in a second. It says, breaking. He said, I have filed a criminal referral against Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg for making material false statements to Congress while under oath.
Whoa, that's breaking news tonight.
Oh yeah, bro.
That's breaking news.
Take it to Zuck, man. Take it to Zuck. There's another one they need to bankrupt
Dorsey,
right there.
Yeah, and they need to bankrupt Dorsey, too, with Twitter. He made false statements. That's why he's been in South Africa since that testimony. He's never returned to the States as far as I know. Because he'll blatantly lie, too, Mark. Yeah.
Now, here's another one. If you guys have never heard of Representative Anthony Sabatini, he's in Florida, District 32. He's in Lake County, and he put out a little while ago, breaking, Florida's most corrupt county, Broward, had his plaintiff arrested by the local police because one person inside his gym was not wearing a mask.
Whoa.
I'm calling on Governor Ron DeSantis to immediately issue an executive order to stop these local government criminal mask mandates. And he says it's past time to issue an executive order to stop this madness. Brian Kemp of Georgia issued it weeks ago.
He did.
Now, look, again, and I'm going to go over this for a second. When you look at Florida is a melting pot. It is a melting pot of different cultures, and people from all over the world come here. And I understand that the governor here, Ron DeSantis, who I support 100, he's the best governor we've ever had in this state. That doesn't mean that things couldn't be done differently. Now, I've said this before on the program, where I believe that he should have be going on a national blitz right now to get ahead of this firestorm that the media is controlling. The media is controlling the states, Chris, through their false fake news right now with this whole COVID thing. Did you see the doctors' conference they had where the one doctor came out? God bless this doctor, man. She came out and she lambasted these guys and said COVID is healing these people, period. There's not been any deaths that I've treated in 300-something patients. So that's the kind of thing that needs to be happening on the governor level at the state of Florida and every state with the red state right now, with a red governor right now. And the problem is whoever Governor DeSantis PR people are needs to fire them. Absolutely. I don't know who they are.
Absolutely.
Because, again, they ought to be on Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and saying, and look, we just found out, again, a week or two ago, that all the labs in Florida here were getting a 98% positive or something like that. Ended up being 9.4%.
99 point, yes. That's about right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge difference here, guys. Huge difference. So everybody's saying, oh, my God, it's going up again. And people aren't opening stuff up. They're closing stuff down again. What was it you just read about the restaurants?
66% of all restaurants that were closed during the virus will not reopen ever again. That's total destruction. They're gone. They will not come back. And a lot of those were mom and pops, Mark. A lot of those were mom and pop restaurants that probably those families depended on that income for life. I mean, that was their life savings that were put in those restaurants.
Look, I'm not saying that the COVID virus is not real and there are some sick people out there with COVID. That's not what I'm saying here, but it's not anywhere near what the fake news is portraying it to be. And the problem is these governors are allowing the news to once again instill fear in the people and not get ahead of it. This is where I disagree with the governor, that he could be out a whole lot stronger in what he's doing right now. Brian Kemp, again, just set the standard. One state's already set the standard. But again, we're a melting pot. I understand that. And I know he's caught between two camps. There's a camp out there that says, hey, we need to be wearing masks. Well, why is that? Because there has been a miserable PR job done in saying this is fake, guys.
Amen.
You're doing something that's fake. And so, but he's caught with the other camp. Get rid of the masks. And he's caught in between the two. So I get it. But it's look, we've been closed long enough. This COVID, look, the shutdown has done more damage to America than COVID ever did. Just like what you just gave, that stat. Was it 68%, 66%? 66% of these businesses are not going to come back. It's causing fights in the streets.
Yes,
you go into a business, a local business, and my heart breaks for some of these people because they say, look, I need you to put on a mask because it's mandatory here or we're going to fine us. It's like me as the patriot, what am I going to do? I feel bad for them. I don't put the mask on, but I kind of feel bad for them at the same token because they're being put in a bad position by the city or the county or whoever it is at the time. They don't want to lose their business, Chris.
They don't.
And it's literally pitting business owners against their customers right now. And what's aggravating is the governors, some of them see it, some of them don't, but some of them could do a whole lot better job in educating the public right now. And that's where I believe the governor could be doing a better job of educating the public, saying, no, this is fake, guys. None of these numbers are correct. Stay off the local news. Get on the national news and get with it.
Well, Mark, I've always said this, and look, I'm thinking of Alabama. They shut the bars back down again today. I mean, they're going backwards. People are going backwards with this.
Going backwards
forward.
Again. Again,
we're not making any progress with this. And I would understand this a little bit. I'm not saying I'd understand it totally. If the deaths were spiking, the deaths are not what's spiking.
No.
What's spiking are the cases. And the reason the cases are spiking is because of the testing. We're testing more people. I did a figure, and the mathematician out there who was trying to correct me, I'll salute you for that tonight. But Chris can add a little bit. But 1.2 million tests were given in our state of Tennessee. Guess how many cases we had come back out of 1.2 million? 79,000. Figured it out. That's 6.5% of our population has the virus. Not dead. That's not deaths. That's just they have a form of COVID-19. And I was talking to Director Mike this afternoon, and he's convinced. He is absolutely convinced that in those figures, in all these states, Mark, there's flu cases, pneumonia cases, cold cases, allergy cases. I mean, we're getting reports of people, if they stump their toe on the side of a sidewalk and you walk into a hospital room and you sneeze, they're telling you you've got COVID-19.
That's right.
And even if that is the accurate number, the number of deaths in that are less than 1%. And actually it's 0.0 something. It ain't even 1%. It's 0.0 something when you look at the deaths compared to the cases and the testing. We should be lifting this thing. It's not a pandemic. They can't even use the word pandemic anymore, Mark. It's done. It's over. But we're acting like we're going back. They're acting like it's an apocalypse.
The video of Nadler